This right here is my pet ant. She just completely destroyed a mosquito, and this is her home. However, she and the rest of her colony like to venture out there, and I let them. I've got a very good reason for that. It is because I'm too lazy to do something about it. So where do these ants go? What do they do out there? And mainly, where do they come from? Because I didn't add them to this terrarium. We'll discover it together. But that is not all. Their home is threatened. If I don't do anything, these things will take over. Isopods. That is why I will be adding 3 predators. Each one more efficient than the previous one. And the last is even evolved to hunt isopods. But why would I want to hurt these cute little things? In my other terrarium, I made the mistake of doing nothing. I'll show you how that went. Yeah, that was way too dramatic for nothing. There is just too many of them. If I don't do anything, they will keep humping and multiplying. This will result in them eating all the plants, and the terrarium will look like crap. But before we save the home of the ants and add the predators, we need to answer one important question. Where do these ants come from? Because, like I said, I didn't add them in this terrarium, or so I thought. When I was building this terrarium, I went out to find the best, the most awesome, the greatest log ever. You thought it was going to be this one, right? With the and the light. Nope, it's this one. And this small choice I made would scape my entire future. Because what I took into my home with this log would change my ants. I took in ants. So yeah, apparently there is an ant colony in the log. So technically I added them, but it was an accident. I didn't know if the queen was also in there, so I was going to give them a mosquito. If they take it back to the nest, I know there are larvae in there, because adult ants don't eat solid food. And when there's larvae, there's a queen. The next couple of days, I kept watching the terrarium to see glimpses of the ants. I saw a few of them, but nothing really interesting happened. That was until I saw Bob. Like the video now for Bob. Do it. Bob is a red springtail, but I call him the forbidden jelly bean. That is because he looks like a jelly bean, and I wonder if he tastes like one too. No, that's forbidden. And this right here is the forbidden gummy bear. I call him that because his little legs look like the legs of a gummy bear, and I wonder if he tastes like one too. No, that's forbidden. I'm lucky that besides the ants, all the other animals stay in the terrarium and look so cute. What the heck is this alien looking thing? I don't know what aliens look like, but they look like this. So I'm no biologist, but oh wait, I am. So this is a nematode, a species of roundworm. Anyway, let's move on. Do you remember when I said that all animals stay in the terrarium besides the ants? Well, one other species escapes. Please be cute, Bob. Please be cute, Bob. Oh hell no. I don't think so. Not on my watch. Oh crap, it's on me. Get it off, get it off, get it off, get it off, get it off. Okay, we're good. Here is another trying to escape. I don't think so. Not on my watch. Oh crap, it's on me again. Okay, they're actually not that bad. I know it looked like I was overreacting there, but that's because I was overreacting. I haven't seen many ants yet, and I want to know how many are in there, so I'm going to draw them out with honeydew. Let's put on a time lapse. Yeah, that was not a success. I'll try again in a spot where the honeydew stays in place. Again, I'll put on a time lapse. That is one of the aliens. And to the left there is a millipede. But no ants. As they say, third time is a charm. And trust me, this time it worked. While we wait for the ants to find the honeydew, I went looking for the predators in the forest. Whenever I find one of these, I want to touch it to see if it hurts. As a biologist, I can tell you, this hurts. You are probably wondering where I'm going to find these predators. Simple, I'm lifting some logs. Under this first one I saw a big ass centipede, but I was too slow. I thought nothing was under the second one, but the thing that was under there is now on me. The third one had something very, very cool underneath. This is an alpine newt, and as a biologist I can tell you I butchered that pronunciation. These are very sensitive animals, so I'm not touching it with my bare hands, and I'm not taking it home. Always be careful when you put the logs back. Oh look, these look like a different species. Maybe these don't hurt. Not sure yet. No? Okay, never mind, it's the same species. As a biologist I can tell you, I'm an idiot. I was almost ready to give up on finding predators, but under this last log I found the first one, and the least effective, the centipede. I took it home, and before we go see if the ants found the honeydew, it's time for the mission report. So I found the first predator, and I got a tick on an undisclosed location. Balls. I got a tick on my balls. Wait, I'll show you. The tick, not my balls. So was the trip worth it? Yeah, pretty much. Sometimes life gives you lemons, and sometimes it gives you lime. Please life, don't give me lime. Anyway, let's check on the ants. We've got some movement. At least one ant has found the honeydew, but back in the nest, more ants have heard the news about a food source. Honeydew is full of sugar, so she might be able to smell it, going right for her goal. That is like me when I smell food. I already saw a decent amount of ants, but I decided to put on a time-lapse to see what we're dealing with and to see how many ants I could get in my house if they get out, or I mean when they get out. The ants have eaten enough and are returning to the nest for now. In the meanwhile, the isopods have been multiplying really fast, so before I'm feeding the ants a mosquito, I'm adding the first predator. I could add some isopods in the small cup to see the centipede hunt, but that wouldn't be fair to the isopods. They would have no place to hide, and I think the centipede is too stressed anyway. Maybe we'll see it hunt in the terrarium later. There he goes, off to hunt some isopods. Before we're getting the next predators, I'm going to see if the queen ant is also in the log, and for that I'm giving them a mosquito. Or this might be a fly, not 100% sure. In that case, poor flu. Now let's see if the ant takes it back to the nest. If she does that, that means there are larvae in there that need food, and that also means that the queen is in there, because the larvae come from eggs, and only the queen can lay eggs. What will she do? Pom pom pom. Yeah, she took it back to the nest. Even I was getting bored here. But hey, that means we've got a queen. Now it's time to add a second predator. I found this one in my garden. I didn't film it, but here's a reenactment. Oh wow, an earwig. And yes, I was really this excited. And I hear a lot of you thinking, an earwig is definitely not more efficient than a centipede. And you would be right, but you're forgetting one thing that the earwig has that the centipede doesn't. Love. Just kidding, they have bow chicka bow wow. Because this is a female, and in the terrarium is already a male. That means they can produce offspring that are definitely more efficient than one centipede. Fun fact, earwigs are great mothers. They care for their young and feed them until they're ready to go off on their own. This is pretty unique for insects. And those pincers they have, they use them. I know this footage is blurry, but I didn't want to bother her a second time. There she goes, ready to chase some tails or some pincers. Although that belly already looks pretty full, so she might have eggs already. If I see babies, I'll post them on my Patreon page. I also found the last predator in my garden. Here is a reenactment. Oh wow, a woodlouse spider. And yes, I was really that excited. So the third predator is a woodlouse spider, as in adapted to eat woodlouse, which are isopods. This one I've got here is still a baby and doesn't look like much, but trust me, the adults are scary. So warning, I'm going to show an adult now. The adults have very big fangs to pierce the armor of the isopods. Here is a funny spider to offset the scary spider. You're welcome. These spiders are mostly active at night, so I have no clue why this one looks a bit stressed. No clue. So I'm adding this spider into the terrarium, and after that we're going to see where the ants are going to outside of the terrarium. Okay, there she finally goes, off to hunt some baby isopods. Now answering the question, where are these ants going? When I opened the terrarium, I noticed a few ants walking on the lid, just exploring. But when I looked closer, I saw these outside too. Ants are dogs, you can't convince me otherwise. They even smell each other's ass when they meet. Anyway, I kept looking for a while, and I saw at least 5 or 6 ants exploring the world outside. I even saw one ant carrying another one, and yes, they're both alive. I wanted to see where they were going, so I followed them, and they just walked back into the terrarium. It has been a while since I fed the ants the honeydew, so I think they're looking for sugar here. So I gave them some. Very smart move, of course. If you want your ants to stay in the terrarium, feed them outside of the terrarium. Trust me. Now she has eaten, I wanted to see where she was going. She clearly has a goal. She walked right back up the terrarium. It is obvious they walked this path before. They're just following a trail of pheromones that is like a marked path for them. And it leads all the way back to the log and to the nest. I think now you know why I just let them get out and get back in as they please. They wouldn't hurt the fly. Like always, please click on this next video. Thank you to all patrons, members and everyone that watched. And welcome to the new patrons. I think you'll like this video next. Bye.